Jai-Ho Kim stared out the window of the transport ship. The stars looked different from up here. Back home in Seoul, he could only see a few stars at night. Now he saw thousands. Approaching Galactic Military Academy. All new cadets prepare for landing. A robotic voice announced. Jai-Ho took a deep breath. At 19 years old and standing only 5 feet 5 inches tall, he was about to make history as the first human to attend the academy. Earth had joined the Galactic Confederation just 6 months ago. The Confederation had 27 alien species, all more advanced than humans. The transport ship landed with a soft thud. Jai-Ho grabbed his small bag and joined the line of new cadets. Next to him stood aliens twice his size, with extra limbs, scales, or strange-colored skin. Jai-Ho felt very small and very human. Name and planet of origin? Demanded a blue-skinned officer at the entrance. Jai-Ho Kim. From Earth, he said, trying to keep his voice steady. The officer looked down at him and frowned. Human. You're smaller than I expected. He handed Jai-Ho a silver badge. Cadet Kim, Building C, Room 217. Jai-Ho walked across the huge landing area. The academy was built like a small city, with tall buildings made of a shiny metal he had never seen before. The gravity here was stronger than Earth's, making each step harder than the last. Hey, you must be the new human, called a voice from behind. Jai-Ho turned to see another human approaching, wearing a second-year cadet uniform. I'm Do-hyun Park. I was the third human to join last year, he said with a friendly smile. You look lost. I'm Jai-Ho Kim. Yes, I'm trying to find Building C. Do-hyun pointed to a tall building with a blue roof. That's C. I'm in Building B next door. The food here is strange, but you'll get used to it. The training is hard. Be ready. As they walked, Jai-Ho noticed many aliens staring at him. Some looked curious, others looked doubtful, and a few looked hostile. Why are they looking at me like that? Jai-Ho asked. Because they don't think humans belong here, Do-hyun said simply. Most species here are stronger, faster, or smarter than us. They think we're too weak to be useful in galactic security. They reached Building C, and Do-hyun helped Jai-Ho find his room. Get settled. First assembly is in 1 hour in the main hall. Don't be late. 1 hour later, Jai-Ho stood in the enormous main hall with 300 other new cadets. They were organized in neat rows by species. Jai-Ho stood alone in the human row. A tall, 4-armed alien with gray skin walked onto the stage. He stood 9 feet tall and had a face covered in battle scars. The room went completely silent. I am General Dox, head instructor of this academy and supreme commander of the Confederation Defense Force, he said in a deep voice. For 300 years, I have trained the best warriors in the galaxy. Some of you will join their ranks. Many of you will fail. General Dox's 4 eyes scanned the crowd until they found Jai-Ho. The general's face showed no emotion, but his voice carried clear disapproval. I see we have a human this year. The newest and weakest species in the Confederation. He stared directly at Jai-Ho. I question the wisdom of accepting your kind into our ranks, but I follow the Confederation's decisions, even when I disagree with them. Several cadets laughed quietly. Jai-Ho felt his face grow hot, but he kept his eyes locked with General Dox. All of you will be tested beyond your limits, the general continued. Those who survive will earn the right to defend the galaxy. Training begins tomorrow at dawn. Dismissed. As everyone filed out, Jai-Ho felt a heavy weight on his shoulders. He wasn't just representing himself here. He was representing all of humanity. And their biggest critic would be teaching him personally. He had 1 year to prove humans belonged among the stars. Jai-Ho woke up before the alarm sounded. His muscles hurt from the stronger gravity. He had slept poorly, thinking about General Dox's words. You can do this, he told himself as he put on his cadet uniform. The material was lighter than earth cloth, but somehow stronger. The training field was huge, with strange equipment Jai-Ho had never seen before. 300 cadets stood in formation as the sun rose. Ji-Ho found himself in line next to a tall, thin alien with golden skin. First test. Endurance run. 10 laps around the field. Begin, shouted a 4-armed instructor. The cadets took off running. Ji-Ho started strong but soon felt the extra gravity pulling at his legs. By the 3rd lap, his lungs burned. Aliens with longer legs or multiple limbs moved easily past him. Human falling behind. Someone yelled. Laughter followed. Ji-Ho kept running even as his vision blurred. He wouldn't quit. He couldn't. A cadet appeared beside him. Pace yourself. Breathe deeper, said a female voice. Ji-Ho looked over to see another human running beside him. I'm Hae-Yun Lee, she said. First female Korean cadet. Second human this year. Ji-Ho nodded, too tired to speak. He followed her advice, taking deeper breaths. Together, they finished the run. Not first, but not last either. After the run came strength training. Ji-Ho struggled to lift weights that other species handled easily. His arms trembled under loads that made the 4-armed aliens laugh. Pathetic, said a large lizard-like cadet named Krav. How did your species even make it to space? Ji-Ho ignored him and kept lifting. He knew he couldn't match their strength, but he wouldn't give up. At lunch, Ji-Ho sat with Hae-Yun and Do-Hyun. Another human joined them, a tall, muscular cadet. Taeyong Choi. He introduced himself with an American accent. Korean-American transfer. Been here 3 months. Any tips for surviving this place? Ji-Ho asked, picking at the strange blue food on his plate. Yes, don't try to be like them, Taeyong said. We can't win by being stronger. We have to be smarter. Hae-Yun nodded. Humans have something these aliens don't understand yet. What's that? Ji-Ho asked. Adaptability, she said. We change faster than any species here. After lunch came combat training. The cadets gathered in a large room with padded floors. General Dox himself stood at the center. Combat is the true test of a warrior, the general said. Strength without skill is useless. The cadets paired off to practice basic moves. Ji-Ho found himself facing Krav, the lizard-like alien who had mocked him earlier. Try not to die, little human, Krav hissed. The sparring began. Krav was twice Ji-Ho's size and 3 times as strong. His first punch sent Ji-Ho flying across the mat. Pain shot through Ji-Ho's body as he hit the floor. But Ji-Ho got up. Again and again, Krav knocked him down. And each time, Ji-Ho rose to his feet. After the 5th time, Ji-Ho noticed something. Krav always shifted his weight to his left foot before striking. This created a small moment of imbalance. When Krav attacked again, Ji-Ho was ready. Instead of trying to block the powerful blow, he stepped aside and used Krav's momentum against him. The surprised alien stumbled forward, off balance. Ji-Ho couldn't match Krav's strength, but he could use it against him. This was basic judo from Earth. From across the room, General Dox watched with narrowed eyes. After class, as Ji-Ho limped back to his room, a message appeared on his datapad. Cadet Kim. Report to special combat training. 500 hours tomorrow. General Dox. Do-Hyun read the message over Ji-Ho's shoulder and whistled. The general's personal combat class. No human has ever been selected. Is that good? Ji-Ho asked. It means he either sees potential in you, Do-Hyun said, or he wants to break you personally. Ji-Ho stared at the message. Either way, tomorrow would be even harder than today. Ji-Ho arrived at the special training room at 4:45 a.m. His body still ached from yesterday, but he was determined to be early. The room was empty except for General Dox, who stood in the center with his 4 arms crossed. You're early, Cadet Kim, the general said. Yes, sir, Ji-Ho replied, standing straight despite his sore muscles. In my 300 years of teaching, I have trained over 10,000 warriors from 27 species. General Dox walked slowly around Jai-Ho. Humans are the newest and physically the weakest species I have encountered. Jai-Ho kept his face neutral, though the words stung. And yet, the general continued, "Yesterday you used a technique I have not seen before." "Explain." "It's called judo, sir. A fighting style from Earth that uses the opponent's strength against them." The general nodded. "Interesting. Today, we will test your limits, cadet." For the next 2 hours, General Dox pushed Jai-Ho harder than he had ever been pushed. The general made him run, climb, and fight without rest. Jai-Ho's lungs burned. His muscles screamed, but he did not quit. At 7:00 a.m., the other 5 cadets in the special class arrived. They were the best fighters from various species. They stared at Jai-Ho with surprise and some with disgust. "Attention," General Dox called. The cadets lined up. "Today, I announce the graduation challenge." The room went quiet. "Any cadet who can make me yield in combat will automatically graduate with top honors," the general said. A murmur ran through the small group. Everyone knew General Dox had never lost a fight. "That's impossible," whispered a tall blue cadet next to Jai-Ho. "The challenge will remain open until final exams," General Dox continued. "You may attempt it once per week." The training that followed was brutal. Each cadet took turns sparring with the general. One by one, they were defeated easily. When Jai-Ho's turn came, he lasted only 10 seconds before being pinned to the floor. "Class dismissed," the general said after defeating the last cadet. "Cadet Kim, stay behind." After the others left, General Dox faced Jai-Ho. "Why do you think I included you in this class?" Jai-Ho thought carefully before answering. "To test humans, sir." "Correct. The Confederation has doubts about Earth's place among us." The general's 4 eyes stared into Jai-Ho's. "Prove them wrong, if you can." Later that day, Jai-Ho sat with his human friends in the academy library. "The graduation challenge is a trap," Du-Hyun said. "No one has ever defeated General Dox, not even the strongest Horrid warriors." "He's right," Tai-Yong added. "I've been studying combat records. In 300 years, no one has made the general yield." "Then I'll be the first," Jai-Ho said quietly. The others looked at him like he was crazy. "Jai-Ho, be serious," Hae-Yun said. "You're the smallest cadet in the academy. General Dox is a torrid war hero with 4 arms and centuries of experience." "I know." Ji-Ho pulled up footage of the general's combat demonstrations on his datapad. "But look here." He played several clips, slowing them down. "See this movement? It repeats, and here, when attacked from the left, he always responds the same way." The others leaned in, watching closely. "Patterns," Jai-Ho explained. "Everyone has patterns. Even General Dox. Even if you spot his patterns, he's still too strong," Du-Hyun argued. "I don't need to be stronger." Ji-Ho zoomed in on the footage, showing a small section of the general's lower left arm. "I just need to find his weakness." "What weakness?" Hae-Yun asked. Jai-Ho pointed to a small area where the general's armor didn't fully cover a nerve cluster. "This spot. In torrid anatomy, it connects directly to their emotional center." "How do you know that?" Tai-Yong asked, impressed. "I've been studying alien biology at night," Jai-Ho said. "Every species has vulnerabilities, even the strongest warrior." Jai-Ho closed the datapad. "I'm going to make General Dox yield, not with strength, but with knowledge." His friends exchanged worried looks, but they could see the determination in Jai-Ho's eyes. The smallest student had found a plan. Jai-Ho spent every free moment in the academy library. While other cadets relaxed or slept, he studied torrid history, biology, and culture. His eyes burned from reading so many texts, but he didn't stop. "You need rest," Hae-Yun said one night, finding Jai-Ho alone among stacks of data tablets. Later, Jai-Ho replied, not looking up, "I found something important." Hae-Yun sat beside him. "What is it?" Jai-Ho showed her an old text about Taurid warriors. Their culture forbids showing emotion in battle. For a Taurid, showing any feeling during combat is worse than losing. Why does that matter? Heyun asked. Because emotions are a weakness I can use, Jai-Ho explained. I can't beat General Dox with strength, but maybe I can break his emotional control. The next morning, Jai-Ho arrived early for special combat training. His body had grown somewhat used to the higher gravity, but he still felt heavy. Today we practice precision strikes, General Dox announced when all 6 special cadets had arrived. The general demonstrated attacks aimed at specific weak points on different alien bodies. When he showed nerve strikes against Taurid anatomy, Jai-Ho paid extra attention. The most vulnerable points on a Taurid are well protected by our armor, General Dox explained. This is why Taurids are considered nearly unbeatable in single combat. Jai-Ho noticed the general didn't mention the nerve cluster he had identified. This confirmed his suspicion. It was indeed a weakness Taurids kept secret. After class, Jai-Ho attempted the graduation challenge for the first time. It ended quickly, with Jai-Ho pinned to the floor in 12 seconds. Your strategy is flawed, General Dox said, helping Jai-Ho up with one of his 4 arms. You attack like you expect to win through strength. You will never succeed this way. Yes, sir, Jai-Ho said, catching his breath. I'll try a different approach next time. That evening, Jai-Ho practiced alone in an empty training room. He worked on speed and precision rather than power. He needed to hit one small target perfectly, just once. A noise at the door made him turn. Tai-Yong entered the room. Du-Hyun said I'd find you here, Tai-Yong said. I brought something that might help. He handed Jai-Ho a small data chip, old Earth martial arts, pressure points, and nerve strikes. My grandfather taught these techniques. Jai-Ho took the chip gratefully. Thank you. Just don't tell anyone I gave it to you, Tai-Yong said. Some techniques were banned after Earth's first contact wars. Late that night, Jai-Ho was leaving the library when he overheard voices from a nearby room. He recognized General Dox speaking to another instructor. The human cadet concerns me, the general said. Not because he might succeed, but because he refuses to accept his limitations. Is that not a quality you admire, General? The other voice asked. Determination is admirable. Delusion is dangerous, General Dox replied. Humans simply do not belong in galactic combat roles. They are too fragile, too emotional. Jai-Ho's hands tightened into fists. The Confederation made a mistake including Earth, the general continued. Humans will never be more than a curiosity among the stars. Jai-Ho slipped away before they could discover him. The general's words hurt, but they also strengthened his resolve. In his room, Jai-Ho created a training dummy using his bedding and some spare parts. He marked the exact spot where the Taurid nerve cluster would be. Then he practiced striking that single point over and over until his hand was sore. I don't need to be stronger, he whispered to himself. I just need to be precise. On his datapad, Jai-Ho opened a new file and began learning Taurid language. If he wanted to affect the general's emotions, he would need the right words at the right moment. The smallest student was building his weapon, piece by piece, not a weapon of strength, but one of knowledge. 3 months into the academy year, it was time for the midterm combat trials. All cadets would fight in a tournament to show their progress. The entire academy gathered in the main arena to watch. This is your chance to prove yourselves, General Dox announced. The top performers will earn special privileges. The failures will face additional training. Jai-Ho stood with the other human cadets, feeling nervous but ready. He had trained hard, both in the special combat class and during his own practice time. First match, Cadet Kim versus Cadet Zorn, called the announcer. Jai-Ho stepped into the ring. Across from him stood a tall, red-skinned alien with 6 limbs. Zorn was known for his speed and had defeated Jai-Ho easily during their first month. Begin, shouted the referee. Zorn charged forward, moving faster than most eyes could follow. But Jai-Ho had studied his movements. Instead of trying to block, Jai-Ho waited until the last moment, then stepped aside. He used Zorn's momentum against him, just as he had with Krav. The surprised alien stumbled forward. Before Zorn could recover, Jai-Ho struck precisely at a nerve point on his back. Zorn fell to one knee, temporarily paralyzed on his right side. Yield, Zorn gasped, shocked that the small human had bested him. The arena went quiet. Then whispers spread through the crowd. Jai-Ho had won his first official match. Jai-Ho won his next 2 matches using similar techniques. He didn't try to overpower his opponents. Instead, he let them waste energy while he looked for weaknesses. It wasn't traditional combat, but it worked. In the 4th round, Jai-Ho faced a senior cadet named Drax, a draconian with scales like armor and claws like knives. "Your tricks won't work on me, human," Drax growled. The fight began, and Jai-Ho quickly realized Drax was right. The draconian moved differently than others Jai-Ho had studied. His scales protected the nerve points Jai-Ho had been targeting. Drax caught Jai-Ho with a powerful swing, sending him flying across the ring. Pain shot through Jai-Ho's body as he hit the ground hard. He tried to stand, but Drax was already on him, pinning him down with one heavy foot. "Yield or break," Drax demanded, pressing harder. Jai-Ho felt his ribs begin to crack under the pressure. "I yield," he gasped. The defeat hurt more than his injuries. Jai-Ho had hoped to make it further, to show everyone that humans belonged at the academy. In the medical bay, a doctor treated Jai-Ho's broken ribs and bruised organs. "You'll need 3 days of rest," the doctor said. "I don't have 3 days," Jai-Ho argued, wincing in pain. "I have training tomorrow." "Not anymore," said He-Yun, entering the room. "I spoke with General Dox. He's granted you recovery time." When they were alone, He-Yun sat beside Jai-Ho's bed. "You did well today, better than any human before you." "Not well enough," Jai-Ho said bitterly. "Drax beat me easily." "But you defeated 3 opponents who should have beaten you," He-Yun pointed out. "The whole academy is talking about it." Jai-Ho sighed. "I still don't know how to defeat General Dox. Drax was just a cadet, and I couldn't handle him." He-Yun was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "My grandfather fought in Earth's first contact war. He developed fighting techniques specifically against non-human biology." Jai-Ho looked at her with new interest. "What kind of techniques?" "Things that were banned after the peace treaties," He-Yun said quietly. "But he taught them to me in secret. Techniques that target the specific weaknesses of different species, including Taurids," Jai-Ho asked. He-Yun nodded. "When you're healed, I can teach you. But you must promise to use them only for the challenge, never to harm others." "I promise," Jai-Ho said, hope returning to his eyes. As He-Yun left, Jai-Ho realized something important. He wasn't alone in this fight. Humans were working together, sharing knowledge that spanned generations. Perhaps that was humanity's real strength, not physical power, but the ability to learn and adapt as a species. Despite his injuries, Jai-Ho slept peacefully that night. His path to victory was becoming clearer. After 3 days in the medical bay, Jai-Ho's ribs still hurt when he moved quickly. But he couldn't wait any longer to begin training with He-Yun. They met in an unused storage room deep in the academy's lower levels. Do-Hyun and Tai-Yong came too, each bringing knowledge to share. "My grandfather called this the ghost hand technique," He-Yun explained. She demonstrated a strike that looked simple but required perfect timing. It targets the nervous system rather than muscle or bone. Jai-Ho tried to copy her movement. His first attempts were clumsy. "No, like this," He-Yun gently corrected his hand position. "The fingers must be precisely aligned with the nerve pathways." For hours, they practiced. He-Yun taught techniques designed to affect Taurid biology. Do-hyun shared breathing methods to help Ja-ho move faster in the heavier gravity. Tai-yong contributed knowledge about balance and leverage. "We're creating a new fighting style," Tai-yong said proudly. "Not purely human, not alien. Something unique." After a week of secret training, Ja-ho felt more confident. His movements became sharper, more precise. He could strike nerve points with scary accuracy. During regular classes, Ja-ho was careful not to show his new skills. He performed just well enough to avoid attention. Meanwhile, he continued studying Torrid culture and language every night. "Look at this," Ja-ho told his friends one evening, showing them an old history text. "The Torrids had a devastating civil war 300 years ago." "That would be around the time General Dox was young," Do-hyun noted. "Exactly," Ja-ho said. "And the war started because a military leader lost emotional control during a ceremony. His public display of grief violated their cultural norms. So that's why they're so strict about hiding emotions," Hae-yeon said, understanding dawning on her face. "And why making General Dox show emotion would count as making him yield," Ja-ho added. "In their culture, it's the ultimate defeat." Their secret training continued for another month. Ja-ho attempted the graduation challenge twice more during this time. He lasted longer each time but still failed to make the general yield. After his latest attempt, General Dox kept Ja-ho behind when the others left. "Your technique has improved, Cadet Kim," the general said, "but you still hold back. Why?" Ja-ho was surprised by the question. "I'm not holding back, sir." "Yes, you are." General Dox crossed his lower arms. "You fight at half capacity. You hide your true abilities in regular classes. You and the other human cadets meet secretly to train." Ja-ho's heart raced. The general knew about their secret sessions. "I don't punish initiative, Cadet," General Dox continued. "But I am curious. What do you hope to achieve?" Ja-ho stood straight and looked directly at the general. "To prove that humans belong here, sir." General Dox studied Ja-ho for a long moment. "No human has ever lasted more than 1 minute against me. You lasted nearly 3 minutes today. Next time I'll last longer," Ja-ho said. The general's face remained emotionless, but Ja-ho thought he saw something flicker in his eyes. Interest, respect. It was gone too quickly to tell. "There is something unusual about you, Cadet Kim," General Dox said finally. "You lack the physical advantages of other species, yet you refuse to accept defeat. Humans don't give up easily, sir." "So I'm beginning to see." The general turned to leave, then paused. "Your special training group is now officially sanctioned. You may use Training Room 7 in the evenings." Ja-ho was stunned. "Thank you, sir." As General Dox walked away, Ja-ho realized something important had just happened. The general was watching him with interest now, not just dismissal. That night, when Ja-ho told his friends about the conversation, they were both excited and nervous. "He's taking you seriously now," Tai-yong said. "Which means he'll be fully prepared next time you face him," Hae-yeon warned. Ja-ho nodded. "Good. I want him at his best when I finally make him yield." The smallest student was no longer just fighting for himself. He was fighting for all humans, to prove they belonged among the stars. Not everyone was happy about Ja-ho's progress. Some cadets, especially those from traditionally powerful species, felt threatened by the human success. Krov, the lizard-like cadet who had mocked Ja-ho on the first day, now watched him with cold eyes. As a Centaurian prince, Krov believed his species was naturally superior to humans. "The little human is getting too much attention," Krov told his friends one day. General Dox even gave them a special training room. "What do you want to do about it?" asked another cadet. Krov smiled, showing sharp teeth. "Teach him his place." That night, while Ja-ho slept, someone tampered with the environmental controls in his room. Slowly, the oxygen level dropped while toxic gases rose to just below the alarm threshold. Ja-ho woke feeling dizzy and sick. His lungs burned and his vision blurred. He tried to reach the door but collapsed halfway there. With his last bit of strength, Jae-ho managed to hit the emergency button on his wrist communicator. Medical staff arrived minutes later. They rushed Jae-ho to the medical bay, where doctors worked quickly to clear the poison from his lungs. "Someone adjusted your room's atmosphere," the doctor told Jae-ho when he woke up. "A little more exposure, and you would have died." Jae-ho's human friends gathered around his bed, worried and angry. "This was deliberate," Taeyong said, his fists clenched. "Someone tried to kill you." "We should report this to Academy security," Hae-yun insisted. Jae-ho shook his head weakly. "No proof of who did it. We all know it was Krav and his group," Do-hyun argued. "They've been angry ever since you started doing well in combat class." Jae-ho thought carefully. Reporting the incident would start an investigation, but it might not lead anywhere. Worse, it would make him look weak, like he needed special protection. "I have a better idea," Jae-ho said finally. When Jae-ho returned to classes 2 days later, he looked weaker than before. He moved slowly and breathed with difficulty. Krav and his friends watched with satisfied smiles. After combat training, Jae-ho approached Krav alone in the locker room. "I know what you did," Jae-ho said quietly. Krav's scales flared in surprise, then settled. "You have no proof." "I don't need proof," Jae-ho replied. "I just want you to know something. On Earth, we have a saying, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer." "Is that a threat?" Krav growled. "No, it's an offer," Jae-ho said, his voice still weak from the poison. "You want to know General Dox's weaknesses. I've been studying him for months." Krav looked suspicious. "Why would you share that with me?" "Because you're going to tell me what you know about him," Jae-ho said. "Information for information, or I can ask Academy security to check who accessed the environmental controls that night." Krav's eyes narrowed, but Jae-ho could see he was considering the offer. "What do you want to know?" Krav asked finally. "General Dox's personal history, your Centaurian royalty. Your people have records going back centuries." Krav was quiet for a long moment. Then he nodded. "Meet me tomorrow night. Come alone." The next night, Jae-ho met Krav in an empty classroom. Krav brought an old data crystal. "This contains classified Centaurian military records," Krav said. "Information about the torrid civil war, including General Dox's service record." Jae-ho took the crystal carefully. "Thank you." "I didn't do this to help you," Krav said coldly. "I did it to protect myself." "I understand," Jae-ho replied. "But sometimes enemies can still help each other." Late that night, Jae-ho reviewed the records in secret. What he found shocked him. General Dox had not just fought in the torrid civil war. He had lost his entire family in it. His mate and 3 children had been killed when emotional tensions exploded into violence. After their deaths, General Dox had shut down all emotions. He became the perfect torrid warrior, never showing feelings of any kind. Now Jae-ho understood. The general's emotional control wasn't just cultural, it was personal. A defense against pain. Jae-ho finally had the key to defeating the galaxy's strongest warrior, but using it would mean causing real pain to someone who had already suffered greatly. The smallest student faced his biggest moral challenge yet. The day of the final challenges arrived. After 10 months of training, all cadets would face their ultimate tests. For most, this meant combat trials against senior instructors. But for the 6 cadets in General Dox's special class, it meant one last chance at the graduation challenge. One final attempt to make the galaxy's strongest warrior yield. The entire academy gathered in the main arena. High-ranking officers from the Galactic Confederation sat in special seats. This was more than just a school event. It was a demonstration of the next generation of warriors. Jae-ho had not attempted the challenge again since learning about the general's past. He had spent the last week in deep thought, wrestling with his conscience. "Have you decided what to do?" Hae-yun asked as they waited for the challenge to begin. "Yes," Jaho said quietly. I know what I have to do. The challenges began. One by one, the special cadets faced General Dox in combat. Each fought bravely, using everything they had learned. Each lasted longer than they had in previous attempts. But one by one, they failed. Not even the strongest draconian cadet could make the general yield. When Krav took his turn, he surprised everyone by lasting nearly 5 minutes. He used information Jai-Ho had shared about the general's fighting patterns. But in the end, General Dox pinned him to the floor with 3 arms, while the 4th held a practice blade to his throat. Yield, Krav gasped. Then it was Jai-Ho's turn. A quiet ripple of laughter moved through the crowd as the smallest cadet stepped into the ring. Even after all his successes, many still doubted a human could challenge a Taurid warrior. General Dox stood tall in the center of the arena, his 4 arms loose at his sides. Cadet Kim, your final attempt. Jai-Ho bowed respectfully. Thank you for the opportunity, General. The match began. Ji-Ho moved differently than in previous challenges. He didn't attack immediately. Instead, he circled carefully, staying just out of the general's reach. General Dox attacked first, one arm sweeping toward Jai-Ho's head. Ji-Ho ducked and rolled away, using the techniques He-Yun had taught him. His movements were fluid, conserving energy. For the first 5 minutes, Ji-Ho focused only on defense. He avoided the general's attacks rather than blocking them, letting the larger warrior expend more energy. You cannot win by simply avoiding me, cadet, General Dox said. I'm not trying to avoid you, sir, Jai-Ho replied. I'm learning you. 10 minutes passed. Ji-Ho had lasted longer than any previous cadet. The crowd watched in silence now, surprise replacing their earlier laughter. Jai-Ho took a few hits but managed to minimize their impact using Do-Hyun's teachings about balance and momentum. His smaller size made him a difficult target. By the 15th minute, even General Dox seemed surprised that the match continued. His attacks became more forceful, trying to end the challenge quickly. You have improved greatly, cadet, the general said. But this ends now. Jai-Ho saw his opening. As the general launched a powerful strike, Jai-Ho didn't dodge this time. Instead, he moved toward the attack, slipping past the general's guard. With perfect precision, Jai-Ho struck the nerve cluster at the base of the general's lower left arm, the spot connected to the Taurid emotional center. At the same instant, Jai-Ho spoke in the ancient Taurid language. Your family watches from beyond the stars. Their love remains unbroken. The general froze. For a split second, his perfect control wavered. Jai-Ho pressed his advantage, not with another physical attack, but with words. They would be proud of how you've honored their memory, but they would not want you to live without feeling. Jai-Ho moved back, lowering his hands. He was no longer fighting. He stood straight, looking directly into the general's 4 eyes. Your pain is understood, General. It does not make you weak. It makes you whole. The arena was completely silent. Everyone watched as something unprecedented happened. A single tear formed in General Dox's right lower eye. The tear slid down General Dox's gray cheek. In 120 years of military service, he had never shown emotion in combat. Not once. The arena remained silent. No one moved. No one spoke. Everyone understood they were witnessing something historic. According to Taurid combat law, an emotional display during battle counted as surrender. The general had yielded. Jai-Ho stepped back and bowed deeply. Thank you for the lesson, General, he said softly. General Dox wiped the tear away with one of his 4 hands. His face returned to its normal emotionless state, but something had changed in his eyes. The challenge is complete, the general announced, his deep voice echoing through the silent arena. Cadet Kim has succeeded where all others have failed. Whispers spread through the crowd. The smallest cadet had defeated the galaxy's strongest warrior. A human had accomplished what no other species could do in 300 years. How? Someone asked loudly. How did the human win? General Dox raised his hand for silence. Cadet Kim did not win through strength or speed or skill alone. He won through understanding. The general turned to face Jiho. In all my years of combat, I have faced opponents who tried to defeat my body. You are the first to reach my spirit. Jiho stood straight, though his heart was racing. The strongest warrior is not the one who feels nothing, but the one who feels deeply and continues anyway. A human concept, General Dox said. One I have forgotten. The graduation ceremony took place 3 days later. All successful cadets received their officer badges in the Grand Hall. When Jiho's name was called, he walked proudly to the stage. General Dox himself pinned the badge to Jiho's uniform. Officer Kim graduated with highest honors, the general announced. As Jiho turned to leave, General Dox did something unexpected. He placed one hand on Jiho's shoulder. You could have used my pain against me, the general said quietly, so only Jiho could hear. Instead, you acknowledged it with respect. This is why you truly won. After the ceremony, Jiho celebrated with his human friends. They had all passed their final tests and would become officers in the Confederation. I still can't believe you made General Dox cry, Taeyong said, shaking his head in amazement. I didn't make him cry, Jiho corrected. I helped him remember that feeling is not weakness. Haeyun smiled. That's what humans do best. We feel, we connect, we understand. The next morning, Jiho was called to the general's office. He found General Dox standing by the window, looking out at the stars. Officer Kim, I have a request to make, the general said without turning around. Yes, sir, Jiho replied. I am asking the Confederation to send more human cadets to the academy. Jiho was surprised. More humans, sir. The general turned to face him. Your species brings something no other can offer, not strength or speed or technology, but emotional intelligence. The ability to understand others at their deepest level. Thank you, sir, Jiho said, feeling a swell of pride. There is more, General Dox continued. I want you to become a cultural liaison between humans and Taurids, to teach my people what you have taught me, that emotions can be strength when properly understood. Jiho bowed. It would be my honor, General. That evening, Jiho sat alone in his room, looking at his new officer badge. He thought about his journey, from being mocked as the smallest cadet to becoming the one who made the galaxy's strongest warrior cry. He had proven that humans belonged among the stars, not because they could match other species in physical strength, but because they brought something else, the power to connect, to understand, to feel. Sometimes, the smallest person could make the biggest difference, not through force, but through heart. And that was humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy.